Good morning, Unstoppable Writers. Today I want to talk to you about a super important topic, what to do when you are facing doubt or discouragement on your writing journey. And this conversation came up in my membership for writers, and typically when a question or a challenge comes up there, I answer it in the group. But this challenge is so universal to writers that I just felt led to go ahead and do this live in our larger group, the free group for Unstoppable Writers. So today we're talking about what to do when you face doubt and discouragement, and specifically, what do you do when you attend a writer's conference or you are reading a writer's blog and they are saying things like, to be a real writer, you have to do this, or you must check this box, or you always have to have a plot outline, but maybe you as a writer are more of a pantser. You write as you're led and see where the story goes. I wanted to come in here and share 3 things, what to do when you are facing doubt and discouragement as a writer. And you would think that for me, after having self-published 4 books, receiving great reviews, after coaching writers for years, that this would not be an issue for me, but it's something that every writer faces at different points in their journey, doubt and discouragement. It doesn't matter if you've published 10 books, it doesn't matter if you've never published a book. Every single writer struggles with seasons of doubt and discouragement. The first thing I want to share with you is that there is no cookie cutter for a creative life or your creativity. I think it's easy for writers and artists when they have discovered what works for them, when they've gone through that arduous process of figuring out, like, do I write better in the morning, in the evening, like what are my practices? Once they figure them out, it's really easy for them to forget the long journey it took to figure those things out, and they can easily stand on a pedestal saying, this is the only way to do it, this is the right way to do it. And what that does is it can discourage and deflate other writers who are still in the process of figuring that out for themselves. So the first thing I want you to take away is there is no cookie cutter for a creative life or for creativity or your writing, how to write a book. There just isn't. You can learn from others, but ultimately it's about figuring out how God has designed you, what works for you, and forging your own path. If you are here live, go ahead and put here in the comments. If you are watching the replay, put replay. I always love to see who's here and check in with how you're doing. The second thing I want you to keep in mind if you are facing doubt and discouragement is that your journey is your journey. You are unique, your strengths are unique, your passions are unique, your voice is unique. It would just make sense that your journey that God has you on is unique. And so I really encourage you, when you can embrace that your journey is your journey, it makes it easier to let go of comparison. It makes it easier to let go of self-inflicted expectations or shame or burdens that you are not where you want it to be or you thought you'd be further along. There's so much freedom when we can embrace that our journey is our own journey and just trusting God with every single step that we're taking. So that's the second thing I want you to remember when you're facing doubt and discouragement. I truly believe you are where you are supposed to be and that God is moving even if you don't see it right this moment. The third thing I want you to remember if you are facing doubt or discouragement as a writer is to rest in the authority and the gift that God has given you. I was really convicted on this Sunday in church. Our message was all about Moses and how he went, before he could go through a season of God elevating him to become the leader of his people, there was a season of divine humiliation where he was in the desert watching sheep, as far from his mission and his life purpose as you could possibly get. And it would be so easy to look at Moses and see, okay, he messed up at 40, he killed an Egyptian, and then he spent 40 years in the desert. And if we would see Moses in that moment, not seeing the future God has for him, it would be so easy to pass judgment. Moses is too old, he messed up, he's in the desert, he's not even writing full time, like he's not fulfilling his destiny. And yet we know the rest of the story, that when God calls someone, when he says, this is the purpose I have for you, this is what I created you for, nothing else can stand against that authority. And I love the verses in scripture where it talks about the disciples after Jesus had died, and the Pharisees are looking at them and the authority that they're talking with, and they remembered that they had been with Jesus. And so as writers and creatives, when you're feeling discouraged or doubtful, questioning if you're a writer, I really encourage you to return to what God has placed in you, that desire, that passion to write, and trust the process, trust him with those gifts, and keep showing up. So again, this came up in my membership for writers because someone had gone to a writing conference and returned discouraged because some of the speakers were talking about you have to do writing this way, or it's not right, or you're not really a writer. And I just wanted to come live and just say that that's not accurate. Creativity, there's no cookie cutter for creativity. Your journey is your journey. It's all about you figuring out what's working for you as a writer and continuing to do that. And then 3, God has given each of us a creative spark, a gift. And if you even want to be a writer or think you might be a writer, you probably are. And so rest in that authority that God has given you. There are stories that only you can tell with your voice to reach specific people. And so I just want to encourage each of you this Monday morning to continue to stay curious and keep writing. The world needs your words.